Are you looking for 10 best things to do in Paris? If it is your first time to Paris, you will possibly need to spend a while on the global famed Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and Notre-Dame. However, do not pass out on different excellent metropolis jewels consisting of the Musée d'Orsay, the Luxembourg Gardens, or Marais. There's no matter, you will get to do it all: museum touring, purchasing, cemetery perusing, district exploring, opera attending. So plan your very own itinerary, organization sightseeing close by points of interest collectively, and notice Paris in your very own terms. Or book a guided excursion to discover wallet of the metropolis with the assist of a local. Here is the list of 10 best things to do in Paris. 1. Eiffel Tower. Designed and built for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, the Eiffel Tower became constantly intended to be a transient shape. However, it skirted demolition talks twice. The first time, at the start of the 1900 seconds, the tower became stored round due to its transmission talents. Gustave Eiffel, leader architect of the Eiffel Tower, had plenty of clinical experiments examined at the tower with the wish that any discoveries could assist extend its lifespan. One of those blanketed a Wi-Fi transmissions test, which the tower surpassed with flying colors. During World War I, the Eiffel Tower's transmission abilities enabled it to intercept communications from enemies in addition to relay intel to troops at the ground. The 2D time the Eiffel Tower became nearly destroyed became in the course of the German career of France in the course of World War II. Hitler deliberate to do away with the tower, however by no means ended up going via together along with his plan. Today, the Eiffel Tower remains used for communicate transmissions, however is mainly seen for its grandeur, if you could trust it. Many Parisians to start with determined this architectural surprise to be not anything greater than an eyesore. Regardless, the Eiffel Tower these days stands as one of the maximum visited visitor points of interest with inside the global. Visitors can stroll as much as the primary ground of the Eiffel Tower or take the elevator all of the manor as much as the pinnacle, wherein they will be handled with great panoramic perspectives of the metropolis. While a few latest traffic bitch of lengthy lines, particularly in the course of the summer, you could skip the wait via way of means of reserving your tickets online on the Eiffel Tower's website. 2. Jardin des Tuileries. Centrally placed among the Louvre and the Place de l'A. Concorde, the Jardin des Tuileries is an unfastened public lawn that spans about 55 acres, though it became to start with designed completely for the usage of the royal-owned circle of relatives. And courtroom docket, the park became brought to the UNESCO World Heritage listing in 1991 and has been open to the general public for the reason that 17th century, the inexperienced area holds in critical function in France's records. For example, overseas dignitaries as soon as accrued for conferences with inside the Jardin des Tuileries, and Napoleon and Marie-Louise's wedding ceremony procession marched via the gardens at the manor to the couple's marriage feast with inside the now defunct Palais des Tuileries. In the prevailing day, Parisians and travelers alike love wandering alongside the park's tree-covered paths, having picnics at the garden or truly sitting on a bench, and people watching. Recent traffic stated that the park is an amazing vicinity to loosen up at the manor to or from the Louvre. The Musée de l'Orangerie is close by as well, on the southwest quid of the gardens. The gardens additionally include 3 restaurants, a bookstore, a carousel, and greater. 3. Le Marais. Straddling the 3 and 4 arrondissements, Le Marais is one in all Paris' oldest and coolest districts. So cool, in fact, that French author Victor Hugo, creator of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Les Miserables, referred to as a domestic, with all of its cobblestone streets, stately stone structure, and tucked away courtyards. It is smooth to sense as in case you're taking walks via medieval Paris. Back with inside the day, Le Marais housed a few excellent French royalty. King Henry IV became the only chargeable for the development of the Place des Vosges, Paris' oldest square, and Louis XIV referred to as this community domestic for some time till he determined to transport his own circle of relatives and courtroom docket to Versailles. Much of Le Marais additionally survived the destruction made in the course of the French Revolution. Despite the old world French surroundings, the community has performed host to more than one cultures in the course of its lifetime. Since the 13th century, Le Marais has been the metropolis's Jewish quarter. The quarter's records may be maximum felt alongside Rue des Rosiers, which characteristic a few old college delis and bakeries. Today, Le Marais is the epicenter of the metropolis's homosexual community, with elegant boutiques and colorful nightlife alternatives outnumbering conventional Jewish establishments. And museums. Here you could locate the Centre Pompidou, the National Archives of France, the Musée Picasso, and Musée des Arts et Metiers. the oldest technology museum in Europe. In addition to the community's series of boutiques, Le Marais is thought for its Sèvres antique stores, an area of expertise stores consisting of papeteries. Antique hunters gets a load of accurate reveals on the village St. Paul at the same time as foodies will pleasure in a go-to the Marche des Enfants Rouges. Paris' oldest market. 4. Sacred Heart Basilica of Montmartre. Rising excessive above Paris, the Sacré-Cœur seems greater like a white fort than a basilica. However, that is what it's for, towering over the eclectic community of Montmartre. This Roman Byzantine masterpiece is without problems identified by a way of means of its ornate ivory domes, as blanched as it is able to seem at the outside. The basilica's indoors is a sight really well worth beholding. The ceilings glitter with France's biggest mosaic, which depicts Jesus growing along the Virgin Mary and Joan of Arc. You'll additionally probably be left in awe with the panoramic perspectives determined from atop the Sacré-Cœur's outside staircase. But for an excellent higher picturegraph opus, climb all 300 steps to the pinnacle of the dome. The dome is offered to traffic each day from 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., from May to September, and from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from October to April. Mass is held more than one instances in afternoon each day. 5. Musée de l'Orangerie, an extension of Musée d'Orsay. Musée de l'Orangerie functions a large choice of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist artwork. It is first-class acknowledged for its enlarged water lilies artwork by a way of means of artist Claude Monet. The 8 large artwork are divided throughout oval rooms which can be packed with herbal mild from a tumbler roof. Monet elevated the scale of those artwork with the purpose of completely immersing visitors of their beauty, particularly after the hardships of World War I. Beyond the Water Lilies series, Musée de l'Orangerie boasts the Jean Walter Paul Guillaume series, which functions works by a way of means of artists like Renoir, Cézanne, Picasso, Matisse, and greater. Museum traffic, particularly Monet fans, stated this gallery is a must-see. They have been thrilled to find out it became an enormously small constructing, which means it is able to be finished pretty quick in case you are in a time crunch. The smaller area additionally interprets to much less crowds, which many museumgoers appreciated. 6. Palais Garnier, Opéra National de Paris, a masterpiece of architectural opulence. The Opéra Garnier, additionally referred to as the Palais Garnier, nonetheless exudes the identical enigmatic surroundings it radiated with inside the past due 1,800 seconds. This palpable experience of intrigue and thriller that permeates the opera is due in element to its awe-inspiring old-world interiors in addition to Gaston Leroux, the writer of Phantom of the Opera, for which the Garnier served as inspiration. Leroux claimed the Phantom became certainly actual, efficaciously incorporating actual existence opera occurrences consisting of the chandelier falling and killing a bystander into his fiction. The Garnier's loss of a strong historic record, in addition to Leroux's writing talents, have left many questioning if there sincerely became a dweller that lurked below the opera. Staff have claimed otherwise, however say with the opera's very actual underground lake. It is smooth to peer how the tale might be so convincing without Napoleon III, who became chargeable for commissioning the opera. Leroux's story could have by no means come to fruition. 7. Luxembourg Gardens, Jardin du Luxembourg, a warm climate oasis that gives the handiest of pleasures. The Luxembourg Gardens offer adequate and experienced area for sun soaking and people watching. Plus there are masses of sports to hold youngsters entertained. When the metropolis bustle turns into too overwhelming, meander across the paths and formal gardens, or simply loosen up with a picnic. Kids can go with the flow sailboats on the Grand Basin, journey ponies, or take a spin at the merry-go-round, or seize a puppet display on the On Web page Theatre des Marionnettes. Adults may pleasure with inside the On Web page Musée du Luxembourg, the primary French museum that became open to the general public, though with 106 sculptures to its name, consisting of a reproduction of the Statue of Liberty. The Luxembourg Gardens may want to without problems be taken into consideration in open-air museum itself. 8. Arc de Triomphe, situated on the western quid of the Champs-Élysées. The towering Arc de Triomphe became commissioned by a way of means of Napoleon to honor the Grand Army in the course of the Napoleonic Wars. The arch, that is the most important of its type with inside the global, is decorated with numerous impressive, intricately carved sculptures. Underneath the arch, vacationers will locate the names of the battles fought in the course of the primary French Republic. and Napoleon's empire in addition to generals who fought in them. Travelers may even locate the well-known tomb of the unknown soldier. The unknown soldier presently buried there is supposed to symbolize all of the unidentified or unaccounted for squatties who misplaced their lives in the course of World War I. The flame that became lit while the soldier became laid to relaxation has now no longer extinguished because it became to start with lit with inside the 1920s and is rekindled each night time at 6:30 p.m. via way of means of a member of the armed services. Aside from admiring the arch, traffic can climb to the pinnacle and take with inside the Parisian panorama. Most traffic are wowed via way of means of the giant length of the shape and endorse ascending to the pinnacle for the incredible Paris perspectives. Visitors warning that you will need to wait in line to get to the pinnacle, and the climb, that is made of masses of stairs, may be a severe workout. Others strongly advise towards seeking to go the road to get to the Arc. Instead, take the underground tunnel close to the metro that leads at once to the bottom of the shape. 9. Versailles Palace, Château de Versailles. The Château de Versailles, the sprawling palace and previous seat of power, is placed 14 miles southwest of Paris in Versailles. Every year, hundreds of thousands of vacationers make the trek from Paris to undergo witness to the Château's global well-known grandeur in person. But among all the gold figurines, dramatic frescoes, and cascading crystal chandeliers you will absolute confidence locate in bulk in the course of the Château, you is probably amazed to analyze that King Louis XIV's extravagant former house had quite humble-ish beginnings. His father, King Louis XIII, preferred the web page for its searching capability and constructed a brick and stone resort there so modest. One in all his advisors remarked that a trifling gentleman could now no longer have been overly happy with the development approximately the vicinity. 13 subsequently determined to expand, constructing small palaces. However, it was until Louis XIV got here alongside that the Château we see these days began out to return back to fruition. Louis XIV moved the French authorities and courtroom docket right here and is credited with enforcing several additions, consisting of the palace's maximum famous enchantment, the Hall of Mirrors. The Royal Opera House became brought beneath Louis XV, who hardly ever resided with inside the Château, and have become the venue wherein Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were given married. 10. Seine River. You won't have plenty problem locating the Seine, because it flows at once via the coronary heart of Paris. The river is possibly one of the maximum well-known waterways with inside the global, and an enchantment in itself. It's additionally beneficial for greater sensible reasons. It flows from east to west, dividing the metropolis into the left bank and the right bank. Knowing where and near when it comes to the Seine assists you to locate your manor round in the course of your trip. For travelers, the waterway generally serves as a picturesque backdrop. However, it's far a lifeline for locals. It's a dependable water supply, a chief transportation course, and essential for plenty varieties of commerce. It has additionally served as a supply of sustenance for plenty fishermen relationship again to the 3rd century. In 1991, the Seine River became named a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its cultural importance in each the beyond and the prevailing